know it has been a minute since I have posted a long form vlog, but today was so unexpected. I was going in for my regular fetal medicine doctor appointment or whatever, where they check his bio profile and I do the NST test, and they checked his growth today, and come to find out my amniotic fluid is low, and they feel like it's just better to go ahead for me to go ahead and have him now, because if I ran out of fluid it wouldn't be healthy for baby boy. So we are having our son today. Oh my freaking god. So luckily my mom already has the girls, so that's already squared away, but we have to go back to the house to go get his car seat and our bags. I was crying and everything in the room because I thought something was wrong with him, but they made us do an NST test before I left, so he's okay. But we are having our son early. So any other August moms out there, please go ahead and get your bags packed, because these babies are not waiting. Put this in. Yeah, that way you should hear it click. Yay. All right, y'all, as y'all can see, I am in the bed. It is 5:24 in the evening. I said 5, my bad. 6:24 in the evening. They gave me my first dose of Cytotec. My doctor came in 2 hours ago and checked me, and I'm only at a 1, so we got a little ways to go. They got me on a liquid diet already. Luckily, I ate a little something like at 8 o'clock this morning, so it could be a long night. He might not be here until tomorrow, but I'm just giving y'all an update because nothing's really happening right now. All right, y'all, it's 11:34 at night. They got me hooked up to a bag of fluid because baby boy's heartbeat was going way too fast. They gave me my second dose of Cytotec at 10 something. I want to say my next dose would be at 1 something in the morning, and when I got checked again, I'm still only 1 centimeter. So things are moving very, very slow. I look exhausted because I've been up all day. Everybody wants me to try to get some rest or try to get some sleep, but it's hard to try to get rest or sleep when you're uncomfortable. My contractions, they said I'm having contractions, but I can barely feel them. So we will see how the rest of the night about to be over. We'll see how this morning goes. All right, y'all, it is the next day and I'm still in labor. It is 8:20 a.m. They have me on a peanut ball, which has been helping. I was at a 2 the last time I got checked. I just got checked and I'm at a 4 now, so we're making progress. At 9:45, they're going to start me on Pitocin so I can have consistent contractions. So hopefully baby boy will be here today.
Good job, Mama. Did I do a cut the cord?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't know the flash was going to cut on. All right, y'all, so I know I did not film everything once it was time for me to start pushing because everything went really, really fast. Excuse the way I look, because as y'all can see, I'm not getting much sleep. I'm tired, but we're pushing through. I should have went on ahead and done this. This video should have been out, what, a week ago, because he's 2 weeks now, so this video should have been out. But I'm just gonna be honest, like, thinking back on my birthing experience is very traumatic for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my time, and I want to tell this story because somebody else might have felt this same way when they gave birth. So I think the last clip, I think I told y'all that they were going to start me on Pitocin because they gave me 4 doses of Cytotec, and then my doctor came in and broke my water about 9:45 in the morning. Yeah, then they gave me Pitocin. So they put me into like different birthing positions to try to get him to get off of my back because I was experiencing back labor. I had back labor with my last child, and I ended up having her at home because I did not know that I was in labor. When I had my first 2 daughters, I felt, you know, the cramping and stuff in the front. I didn't feel any back labor, so I knew I was in labor. With her, I didn't know, and I ended up giving birth at home. But anyway, so I want to say around like 12 o'clock, they had checked me, and I was at 6 centimeters. And my doctor had warned me. She said, because you've had 3 children, after we break your water, you could go like really, really fast. So I'm like, okay. So around about 12 o'clock, I was like, my cramps were, well, the contractions were getting to the point where it was like, look, I can't do this no more. Luckily, I had already talked to the anesthesiologist the day before when I had got admitted. So I had already signed the paperwork for me to get an epidural if I needed one. Because I've never been induced before, and all I've been hearing is stories like, yeah, Pitocin make your contractions like 10 times worse. So around about 12 o'clock, I'm like, look, I can't take this no more. After they check me, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and call the anesthesiologist down here, which didn't even take the person 5 minutes to get down there, but it wasn't the lady that I talked to the day before. So I was feeling really, really nervous about it, because the lady I talked to the day before made me seem like, yeah, she knew what she was doing, because I have had a failed epidural before, and that was with my first daughter. By the time it was time for me to push, my epidural wasn't working yet. My epidural worked after I gave birth to her, so I felt everything my first time giving birth. So wouldn't it just be my luck this time? The same thing happens again. So the lady does the epidural, you know, clean my back or whatever, put the needle in or whatever, get the wire up in there, put the tape on it, I lay back or whatever, and she told me it's a button to increase it every 10 minutes. So my contractions are getting even stronger at this point. I'm like, this is not working. So while the epidural is not working, the nurse is up in the Pitocin too. So I saw when I was on a 2 or 4 or 6. Once she bumped me up to an 8, I want to say this was around maybe like 2 o'clock. My contractions were like really, really strong, and I think they were less than 2 minutes apart at this point. And I was telling the nurse, I'm like, look, I feel like I need to push. And she's looking at me like, I just checked you were at a 6. And I'm like, she's like, don't push, that's just your baby coming down. And I've had a baby at home, so I already know, like, when it gets to the point where you feel like you cannot stop from pushing, that means you're complete, you're at a 10. So she's looking at me like, no, you're not ready. So I'm trying to keep my mind off of the contractions. They're trying to put me in another position to try to get him to get off of my back, because I'm still having back labor. So after we did the last position, I told him, look, I can't do any more positions anymore. I'm in too much pain. So at this point, I had a tear coming down my face, and I've never cried during labor before. So I felt kind of weak at that point. I felt weak at that point. And my man got up and he came to my bedside or whatever, and you know, gave me a hug, because I'm the type of person, like, I don't want to be touched when I'm in labor because I'm in pain. But he saw me crying, and that's when, you know, he got up, because through all of it, like, when he kept checking me and everything, he was like, you need my hand? I'm like, no, I'm okay. So then around about like 2:30, I looked at him and I said, I need to push. And the nurses are constantly telling me, no, you don't need to push. I'm like, no, I need to push. And my man looking at me like, matter of fact, he got a phone call from his grandmother. He was like, yeah, I think she ready to have a baby right now. So he hangs up the phone or whatever. And the nurse, you won't check me? I said, yeah, she checks me. I'm 10 centimeters, I'm ready to go. But they can't get in contact with my doctor. So 2 other nurses came rushing in, because the nurse that was in there with me is like, yeah, she's complete. Like, y'all, like I said, this was like 15 minutes later after I told them I need to push. Like, literally 15 minutes later, I was complete. Crazy. So okay, this might sound a little bit graphic, but I gotta tell the story. So another nurse came in. She had to stick her fingers up there to keep me from pushing, because I was going to push. And they kept telling me, don't push. And I'm like, I'm trying. So they're trying to get in contact with my doctor. Why these fools call her actual office, like, you know, like a patient call? I'm like, no, y'all need her direct number. So the other nurse is like, no, you called the wrong number, call the other number. Luckily, the hospital is like right in walking distance from her office. So maybe I'm gonna give her like 4 minutes. She finally gets there or whatever. And as soon as the lady moved her fingers, I was like, yeah, I'm having a contraction. And I did 1 push, literally 1 big push. And then they told me, just breathe. And he came right on out. So of course he comes out. If you've been following my pregnancy, you know that my son had fetal growth restriction or whatever. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit, because I wasn't seeing one doctor at the fetal medicine place. I was seeing whatever doctor was on call there. So imagine going through a pregnancy where you don't really know or don't really understand what's the issue with your child, and then you're not seeing one doctor every week. You're talking to 4 different people with 4 different opinions. So my son is born, and I'm in pain. Like, I felt all of him come out of me, the head, arms, legs. I felt everything. And I don't want to cry. Once the doctor pulled him out of me, it actually took me a minute before, like, I had to register, like, you know, he was here. And I never felt that way with my other kids. Like, as soon as I pushed him out, it was like, I got to see my baby. With him, it was like, okay, I need a minute, because this was just entirely too much. This was way, way too much. So they put him on my chest, and he's crying and he's alert or whatever. And my number one concern is he okay? You know, because I've been going to go see a doctor every week since I was 28 weeks pregnant. And like I said, I've been talking to 4 different doctors with 4 different opinions, so you don't really know. This person say one thing, this person says another. And then when I go see my OB, she's like, everything's fine to me. So anyway, they finally take him and they weigh him. Mind you, the day that we went to the hospital to get induced or whatever, they told us his estimate weight was 5 pounds 5 ounces. Just for us to get there, I gave birth to him, and he only weighed 4 pounds 11 ounces. And it pissed me off even more because, like I said, I'm talking to 4 different doctors. One doctor going to tell me he's in the 10th percentile. Another doctor says he's in the 4th percentile. Another doctor says he's in the 6th percentile. This is what pissed me off the entire time, because I'm dealing with too many people and too many different opinions. So he's born, and because he's under 5 pounds, he had to be in a little warmer, whatever, because he wasn't regulating his temperature right away. So right after he was born, he stayed in a warmer maybe 3 hours or so, and they told us to keep him double swaddled until he could regulate his temperature. So by that night, he was able to regulate his temperature and everything. And because I had him early, of course, I wasn't producing any milk, and I wanted to breastfeed, so I had to bottle feed him, because my whole concern is with his growth. This has been an issue my entire pregnancy, but there wasn't anything wrong with my placenta, and that's the issue. They just, like I said, dealing with 4 different doctors. They're like, maybe your child is just meant to be small, maybe your child is meant to be small. But this was my issue. Like I said, one doctor says one thing, another doctor says another thing. Anyway, that night. So that night we're thinking, like, when we're gonna get moved to recovery room. I've given birth 3 times. All 3 times, even though I gave birth to my youngest child at home, you go to a labor and delivery room and then the recovery room. So I haven't had a baby in almost 5 years. My youngest child will be, my next to youngest child, because he's here now, she'll be 5 in December. So we just waiting around, like, we're just waiting to move on to our room. The nurse comes in and tell us, like, oh no, whatever room you give birth in, this is the room that you stay in. And if you ever given birth, then you know that bed is not worth a damn that you sleep on. I already hadn't slept the first day. I was in labor for 24 hours. And then I'm on this uncomfortable bed a whole nother night. I haven't eaten in over 24 hours. So I'm even more stressed out. Now, after you give birth, you want to take you a nice hot shower, right? This is why I'm telling y'all this was the most traumatic experience of my life. So it's about like 12 o'clock in the morning. Me and my man, we work overnight, so it's not a big deal for us to be up at night. So the nurses and stuff is like, y'all need to rest or whatever. And it's like, we work overnight, so this is nothing new. So I'm gonna go take a shower first. And somebody has to watch the baby. So my man goes in there, he cuts the shower on, and he like, now that shower ice cold, and I didn't feel it with my hands to know. And I'm like, if it's lukewarm, I'm not pressed about it. Like I said, after you give birth, that first shower after you give birth is supposed to be like everything. It's supposed to make you feel rejuvenated. At least that's how I felt when I gave birth to my first 3 children. I go and get in the shower I got in there, cut the water on. The water was freezing cold, and we had it on hot water, freezing cold. I couldn't even step in the shower because it was so cold. Couldn't even step in there because it was so cold. So I had to step out, cut on the sink, because the sink had hot water. Yeah, the sink had hot water. So here I am taking a horse bath. I'm taking a horse bath after birth instead of taking a full-blown shower. And not only that, with the sink, we had a slow leak in the sink. Like, even if you cut the faucet off, it's just constantly leaking. Okay, another thing with the toilet, you had to jiggle the handle and flush it 4 times before whatever you did in the toilet actually flushed. So we don't have a working toilet. I can't take a shower. I'm laying in an uncomfortable bed after just being in labor for 24 hours. So if you've ever given birth, you already know that you don't really get much sleep as it is anyway. But to be uncomfortable, to feel uncomfortable, not to be able to take a shower, and y'all trying to get us to stay a whole nother day. No. So the next day, of course, he has to do all his newborn assessments. And the only thing I'm thinking is, Lord, let him pass so we can get the hell up out of here, because I can't do another night in here. Mentally, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And I was going to be heartbroken if I couldn't go home without my son. I was. So only thing they did on me was they checked my blood pressure, checked my temperature, and just asked me if I was in any kind of pain or anything. And I was like, no. Honestly, the best that I felt was the day after I gave birth. That was the best day. And I did not know that if they give you Pitocin, they drown the rest of the Pitocin into your body. And I forgot the other fluid they was putting in me too. All that stuff was put in me because my nurse the next day was like, yeah, I'm a little swollen. And I didn't realize I was swollen. I didn't look swole. To myself, I didn't look swollen or whatever, but she said I was. But anyway, they did his hearing test. He had to do a car seat test. Like I said, he was 4 pounds 11 ounces. They did the car seat test, and the car seat test took about an hour because I don't know how they do it, but I guess they had to make sure, like, yeah, he was going to be able to go home and all that. So with all his other tests plus the car seat test, it took about almost like 2 hours. And then because he was born at 2:54 in the afternoon, August 13th, the next day we didn't get discharged from the hospital until 5:30. So we get out the hospital, we come home, and everything's cool until the girl's first day of school. The girl's first day of school was Monday, August 18th. So you can imagine, I'm exhausted. I've been up with a baby all night. It's my youngest daughter's first day of preschool, so we have to drop her off because they're unorganized. You don't have a schedule. You don't know where she's going. You don't know who her teacher is. That's that. And then he also had his first appointment that Monday as well. And then I get dressed and look at my foot, my left foot, not my right foot. My left foot is swollen. Like, it looked like I have a whole freaking elephant's foot. I've never swelled up after giving birth before. And then I started doing all my research, and it's like, oh yeah, because they douse you up with Pitocin after the baby is out and these fluids and stuff, you got to figure out how to get all these fluids up out of your body. Okay, all right. So my mom told me to get some Durex and some water pill or whatever to try to get, you know, my foot to go down. So I think I got the Durex that Tuesday. By Thursday, my foot wasn't swollen. But Wednesday, I thought my wisdom tooth was hurting or whatever. So I didn't think nothing of it. You know, I took some Tylenol, whatever. I'm not thinking nothing of it. Then the next day, my whole jaw is bothering me. And I don't know why. I'm not really trying to think about it. I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. I got kids to get up for school. I don't have time to soak in how I feel or deal with it. I got to be a mom first. I have to be a mom first. I wake up Friday morning. My whole face on this side is swollen. Like, it looked like somebody hit me in the face with a bag of freaking nickels. And I lie to you not, that's how I look. And that's another reason why I really wasn't filming like that. Number one, I'm dealing with postpartum. And not only am I dealing with postpartum, I'm feeling ugly because my face is swollen up. My face is swollen up, whatever. So now I'm scared to death. I'm at the bus stop, you know, trying to make sure, like, the bus driver and stuff not really paying attention to my face, because they could have thought, like, my man had hit me or something or whatever, and that wasn't the case. So I'm at the bus stop, you know, like this, trying not to, like, make eye, you know, like, don't stare at me too long. So Saturday, my face is still balled up. And I'm like, Lord, this swelling got to go down, or else I'm going to have to go to the hospital. Like, if it wasn't going to go down by Monday, I was going to go to the hospital or whatever. But come to find out, y'all, all of this swelling is normal. Like, nobody told me the side effects. Now let me jump to that. I asked the nurse, I said, what is the side effects of Pitocin? I asked her twice. The only thing she told me was Pitocin can make you feel nauseous. And I kept thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to feel nauseous if I haven't eaten in 24 hours? I've been on a liquid diet. How the hell am I going to feel nauseous? Nobody told me that Pitocin make you swell up. And they say the reason why they give you the rest of the Pitocin is because it's supposed to firm up your uterus or whatever, like firm it or whatever. So I was pissed off about that too, because nobody told me about the swelling. Not only did nobody tell me about the swelling, when you have a C-section or if you're getting induced, it's pretty much like the same symptoms. It takes longer for you to heal. Here I am, 2 weeks postpartum. Matter of fact, today's Thursday. So I am 15 days postpartum. I'm still bleeding. Like I said, I'm just being completely honest. I'm still bleeding, and that's not normal for me. After I've given birth to my oldest 3 children, my 3 daughters, by day 5, I'm not bleeding anymore. I'm not bleeding anymore. I'm not in pain, like as far as uterus contracting and all of that stuff. I'm not dealing with none of that stuff by day 5. By day 5, I should be feeling, physically, I should be feeling okay. Mentally, emotionally, maybe not, but physically, I should be fine. Nobody explained none of this stuff to me. And like I said, I asked, what is the side effects of Pitocin? And all of this that I'm talking about is side effects of Pitocin. When they kept saying that they want me to give birth by 38 weeks because my son had fetal growth restriction, all they kept talking about was induction. I was scared of induction because I've heard the horror stories about women saying their induction process was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And since I've been through it, I can completely understand now. Like, you know, some women who only have 1 child, I completely get it now. You know, some people only have 1 child because maybe the relationship didn't work or their partner took them through too much. But nobody talks about when you have a horrible birthing experience, it just makes you want to be like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm not having any more children. Like, if he would have been my first child, I probably would have never had any more children, because I don't wish that pain on nobody. I don't want to deal with that pain ever again. I don't feel like I'm strong. Like, I felt like I was at my weakest moment giving birth to him. I really did. I really did. And I hate saying this. I hate saying it because it sounds like it's so fucked up to say that, because giving birth to your child is supposed to be the best experience ever, and this was the worst experience of my life. Like, when I say that this is traumatic for me, it's traumatic for me. Like, I prayed that he never asked me, like, well, how was it when you gave birth to me, mommy? Like, people think I'm crazy when I say giving birth to my daughter at home was easier than dealing with the whole induction process. And you would think giving birth at home was horrible. No. That was probably my best birthing experience, was giving birth to my daughter at home. But giving birth to my son, I hate thinking back on it. And it's fucked up to say, but the whole process, the overall experience, it was just horrible. And I'll never do it again. Am I glad? Am I happy my son's here? Of course, I love him to death. I finally have a son. Like, I never thought I was going to have a son, but I was kind of hesitant on talking about my experience, but I wanted to be honest about it because, like I said, somebody else could have had the same experience and was just scared to talk about it. So I want to be honest about it. But anyway, let me formally introduce you guys to my son. This is Junior. This is Junior. He's sleeping right now, y'all. And this is what he normally does anyway. During the day, he can just sleep all day, and then at nighttime, he want to be fussy. He want to be fussy at night, but during the day, he's good. He's 5 pounds 4 ounces now, and because he's growing well, his doctor says she doesn't want to see him again until 4 weeks from now. And then 4 weeks from now, we're going to do the consultations about his circumcision. So far so good. But anyways, y'all, thanks for supporting me through my journey to baby boy, and I hope you guys stick around for the rest of my life journey being a mom of 4 now. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.